Homer's identity, however, is still a great mystery. Modern experts cannot agree whether he was one man, two, several, or even a woman. The ancients believed that he was one man, whose name mysteriously means the hostage. They thought he was blind, that he had lived just before 700 BC in Ionia, what is now the western coast of Turkey. Here, Greeks had migrated in the Dark Age which followed the collapse of Mycenaean civilization. It was a new world which would see the birth of Western science, medicine, and philosophy. If Homer existed, he worked as a professional singer, a bard, in royal and noble courts on these coasts. His was an oral society on the verge of literacy. The ancients assumed he had written his text. Modern scholars think that the Iliad was committed to writing in the century or so after his death, but that Homer himself was working in a fully oral tradition. But what does that mean?
Snarchig paardige borne graan. Die roksje keet tiedige tarens, bij de romige roversje. Die maar hedelig, stuur regelig, gaan al in wochten, koerig al in jochten. Woppedanige slapedan, meeltemorige schoonte, is wopper al in hier.
Kilgalligan, on the Atlantic coast of County Mayo, Ireland. Here the oral tradition has lingered on. The last performer of epics the length of the Iliad died only 40 years ago, but there are still storytellers reciting tales of heroic deeds in heroic language. They resemble Homer in their style of speech, especially in the formulas or runs, whose repeat passages, like Homer's, are highly formalized. The storyteller we have come to hear cannot read or write and speaks only Gaelic. His name is John Henry.
For
the last 10 summers, John's repertoire has been recorded by Dr. Seamus O'Cahoyne of University College, Dublin. John has not yet run out of stories.
For the vart sheets in the stable, Martin was attached. Hookshella Taka Bari in the stable, the Scotches was a marshgiftery. Wool Shambo her board, this in Shula be Shayamu, we shall check to us a Shalibi Rudder, with a Livini near she checked to us. Yagra Junagus Jamu late here. Wool Martin of Rimla Crown, with a shock motivated la Mihosu. Ach, we find a community beige, we had a hennig screw, yardig sage of Hadun. August. Love with a pony, Charta 2 years out to pony. Tamageri bought on one day into Martin, who's getting to long home. Near on Focus away, where we bought his gave. Stapal Martin or Stachari.
You couldn't just break it down for me in translation, could you, line by line? Is that a difficult thing for a storyteller to do?
It's very hard to do it, but and it's very hard to translate because there's a lot of the words don't mean anything in particular. It's alliterative. It's fully within the ancient tradition of runs.
But just to catch the flavour of it.
Well, Hoig said they got shoals to Bako Jaha, Bako Jaha. They raised their sails, Bako Jaha, Bako Jaha, perhaps billowing or bellying sails or something like that. Snaichi Fada Gabar na Gran, long threads or ropes to the tops of the masts. John. 200 rowing. 12 on the steering. Sand coming up and foam going down. Splish, splash, Loppadanagus, Lappadan. Whales and seals swimming along behind.
Mae'n noch I bygan o ffarg I wir I golyn ir. Wys y loi'r chos, wys yr wash y waid ar ôl.
In English, you might say the end result is that they set sail and they got there. But of course, it's much more complicated than that.
And what was it that impelled him to learn those stories?
Well, John's the man to answer that question. Take a row to Gerin the Skelty show.
Bwyn ar dy rhaid mwyntin. Fi eisiau rhaid mwyntin I go bwal am sgil ty gol I ddopio hwn sa rhaid sgil ty morffryn.
Fi to Santa Ha.
Fi ma Santa go bwal am yn siangod. Fi ma gaddol am sy'n na gofni deg o ish.
Well, John says that this was the attitude of mind he always had. He was greedy for stories. And of course, he got them.
Now, no one in Kilgalligan is learning the tales from John to pass them on as he did. His only audience is the tape recorder, a sure sign that the tradition is nearing its end. Now we have no need of such guardians of the tradition. Today we recall our lists from a computer terminal, not from the memory of a bard. The idea of memorizing 200 names on an international flight would seem absurd to us. To deliver a poem the length of the Iliad is simply inconceivable.